welcome to the weekend and the next day of the game design showcase. How's everybody doing? Hello, hello, welcome. Hello, chat. How are we doing? Gonna give it a couple minutes. I'm still kind of setting up stuff. I'm gonna post one more thing and we will start. We have quite a lot to cover today, so um, we're going to be doing some game design showcase. If you don't know what that is, basically it's like a new kind of uh, like a new how to say a new sort of thing I'm doing on the stream where we will be essentially looking at an element of game design. Today is world building and mechanics. We'll kind of talk a bit about it, design our own game. We have been, at least since day one, kind of design a bit of our own game to apply the theories and concepts and whatnot. And then we'll showcase like a game at the end to demonstrate that once again, just to hone it in and probably have some fun. So yeah, today is for Honey Heist. If you haven't been here with us the previous days, we've done. Let's see. Our other concepts have been uh, production and prototyping. That was last day, and the first day we did some concept and storytelling. So the concept and storytelling was with Nier Automata, and then we did for the second day for production and prototyping. We did a little showcase with Shadowverse, and today we're gonna get into a bit of Honey Heist. Um, so yeah, I hope you guys are pretty excited for that. We're gonna be doing that, and if we have time at the end, because uh, Honey Heist requires it's a TTRPG. So if you don't know what that is, that stands for tabletop role playing game. So it requires multiple players, which I don't have currently. So what we're gonna do to kind of demonstrate the game is basically look at some other people's gameplay. So we're gonna kind of look at Critical Role. I think they did a stream on this like many years back. Um, probably probably over 5 years at this point. But I think it's still pretty relevant to what we're doing. It's not like it's outdated or anything, because the system's been the same ever since. So yeah, hopefully that'll be fun to you guys. And yeah, if we can slip in if we have more time at the end, I might slip in some Minecraft as well because that kind of works with world building, and some like game mechanic stuff. So yeah, we'll kind of see how much time we have. Let's head straight to our game design showcase. But before then, I'm just gonna quickly tweet something. Um, but otherwise, we will get on our way here. How's everybody doing so far? How's your guys' weekend been? Let me know. If you're watching this in the VOD, let me know as well. I'd love to hear what's going on. Uh, let's see. Okay, give me a second, inventors. I'm just gonna do a little something. Okay. Alrighty. Oh, and as well, I will mention if you're new here, my name is Wilson Goldfinch. I am a steampunk inventor from the Sky City of Leviton. Um, I do mostly like indie game stuff, but I've done like bigger titles and what have you. Like we did Shadowverse, we did Nier, right? Those kind of games. So if you're interested in that, I mainly do like game design stuff. I design my own games and what have you. So if you're interested in that side of content, then feel free to hop on in. Doesn't mean I'll always be doing that, but yeah, I'm kind of streaming on like a whenever I'm free basis. So we'll kind of see how that works out. But yeah, alrighty. Let's just get straight into the showcase, the game design showcase for today. If you guys want more information, for those of you on Twitch, because I am multi-streaming this, for those of you on Twitch, um, feel free to head on to the link. I also have it here if you're here on YouTube with me. Hello. Which, by the way, Twitch folks, YouTube is my main platform, so feel free to check me out over there. I just figured that I had set up a Twitch just because why not? Just for the reach and whatnot, and might as well, right? Because I feel like every YouTuber I've talked to at least mainly streams on Twitch, which kind of makes sense because that's dedicated platform dedicated to streaming, so you're not really competing with like video content like you are on YouTube. I'm just more familiar with YouTube. That's why I started here instead of like why my main platform's here instead of Twitch. But yeah, hopefully you guys will like what we have to talk about today. So let's head into it. All right, hello, welcome. Hopefully everything is all right. Yeah, let's talk about what we're gonna be talking about today. World building and game mechanics with Honey Heist as our showcase. Um, Honey Heist is made by Grant Hewitt and a bunch of other amazing folks who play tested it and what have you. Play tested it, kind of figured out everything and all that good stuff. So, again, I'm going to cover this for those of you that weren't here any previous days or just joining now. So, if you've already heard this ramble, at least if you're in the VOD, you can skip through it. But I'll try to get through this for those of you here live um, as fast as possible. So, especially if you guys hear, I've heard this before because I say this like at the beginning of every game design showcase, and I will be in the next couple of days. Which, if you don't know what times and whatnot I'm streaming, go check me out on Twitter. I have my whole schedule posted there. I won't be streaming as often anymore as I'd like to, as I was in the past. It's kind of just on a whenever I'm free basis. So I am free. Like I was free this weekend and last weekend, so we are streaming. Um, but other than that, yeah, other than that, it's kind of just a whenever I'm free basis. On days like this where I have more time, we'll do like stuff like game design showcase. But otherwise, it's probably just some gaming content or like some game design stuff. So yeah, I don't know if I want to necessarily publish my games just yet. We'll kind of look into that as we continue. It might be interesting though. Might be interesting to consider. Who knows? But yeah. So what is this thing? Well, this is a new series where I will be talking about game design, walking you guys through the process of how to create games and design your own, while oh yeah, while I design like well we design our own as well and stream here. So each stream will focus on one aspect of game design or the game design process, in addition to showcasing a video game or like medium that relates to that stream's topic. So today is world building and game mechanics, so we'll kind of talk about that with Honey Heist and perhaps Minecraft if we get to it. So the hopes of this is to not only teach others about game design, but hopefully explain and demonstrate why certain aspects of the games we love work. I hope that it will inspire you guys as well to create your own games too, or at the very least, hopefully you guys find this enjoyable and entertaining. So yeah, I will say a bit disclaimer though. I do not claim to know everything in the field. I'm not an expert in the field of physical or digital game design, but I'm just merely sharing, the knowledge that I have about this, about the industry, about creating games and whatnot to hopefully inspire creative thought and provoke interest to the theories, concepts, and overall design process that goes into creating physical and digital games. So as such, just take everything I say with a tiny grain of salt. But if you are someone who's interested, who's experienced in the industry or like have connections or what have you, or have some sort of insight that I may not cover or may not go too in depth about, please don't feel free. Oh gosh, I can't talk. Please feel free to reach out. I would love to know a bit more about game design, especially if you're in the industry. I would love to get to know how your process is like, especially publishing games on that side, because anyone can create games, but actually going to publishing companies to get them out there on shelves is one another a whole nother story. So I'd love to know more of that. But yeah, with that being said, let's get into what we're going to talk about today: world building and game mechanics. So, what is world building and how does it play a part in games, both physical or digital? Well, it's defined as the process of creating a fictional setting with systems of landscapes, societal norms, people, places, rules, etc. World building helps us establish and immerse the player base into a world or story of the game. So we see this concept being used a lot in places like film, where they set up characters, locations, and current tensions and whatnot to give us as the viewers an understanding of this fiction and what's to come. Essentially, like catching us up to like the current events of the world. So when designing digital games, basically this could kind of look like relying on the backstory of a given town or city, having that player to NPC interactions that expand on smaller details of the world, or to environment interactions or player to environment interactions with items like signs, letters, or even just the design of surrounding landscapes. And again, if you guys want, I'm just going to add this note at the beginning here. If you guys want to read more into detail, because we're going to cover quite a lot, and I don't know if I'm going to, read these slides verbatim or not, but basically, if you guys are interested in any of the content we talked about this day or any previous game design showcase days, there are links in both on Twitch in my bio as well as on YouTube in the description and just in the channel description as well on these slides, so you guys can get access to the full day's slides. So all the days that we do the game design showcase for, where however that many that is, and however many that will be in the future, you guys can take a look and see what we've talked about. It'll be a nice little collection of stuff here. But yeah, so if we're looking at this, for example, I believe this is Celeste, I want to say. I think that's what's called. I don't know too much about the story. All I really know is how like the gameplay works. Um, so I can't really talk too much about that. But I know with other games like Hollow Knight or like Bishop has told me about the what's it called, the Sheepy A Short Adventure. I haven't played that myself yet on stream, but hopefully sometime. It seems pretty fun. It actually might be a great game to showcase today. I don't know if gosh, I should have thought of that. Dang it. The reason I did want to do Honey Heist though is just because one, to change up the format a bit into more like physical games, but also because we're making a system. Our game is based off the Honey Heist system, so might as well get you guys used to that system if you guys aren't don't know anything about that. Because I know a lot of the big like TTRPG systems are probably like D&D 5e or like Pathfinder or something like that. A bunch of like other ones as well, like Powered by the Apocalypse systems and what have you. So I want to hopefully showcase some new systems and stuff like that. So yeah, but with games like Hollow Knight, I know there's like little like letters or like messages or wherever that you can pick up that are scattered throughout the levels. It doesn't really add too much in terms of the actual game itself, like it doesn't. There's not necessarily. Actually, I don't know. Is there an achievement? Chat, let me know if there's a achievement or not. But is there an achievement in Hollow Knight for like collecting lore stuff? That'd be kind of interesting. You probably are rewarded, right? I don't know. I wouldn't see why they wouldn't have that. But with stuff like that, right? With Hollow Knight, for example, just those little bits of lore. It's not necessarily contributes to the main gameplay too much. Like you don't need to necessarily collect those notes to play the game, but it just adds a little something, to world building and just understanding the world and the story behind it. So like little things like that. So with physical games, this can look like setting up a storyline or premise that sets the world of the game or main setting. So if your game has different locations, settings, or phases, this can also contribute to the world building. And we'll kind of see that as we go through our design of WBC Realms, which is what we've been designing so far. This TTRPG adventure with the Honey Heist system. Yeah, so we'll see a lot of that as well as we go on, because it's a lot. These TTRPGs are very story based, so we'll see a lot of that, a lot of world building here. So to fully understand how to incorporate world building elements into our games in an effective manner, consider looking or thinking about what I said. Thinking. Hold up, a little typo there. Consider. There we go. All right. Consider thinking about what the rules of the world are and how you can convey it in ways that serves the player. So rules, the reason I have that in quotes is because rules, it's kind of just like the backing uh, systems of the game, and how that promotes the story. Like for example, I don't know, with Catan, right? It's a pretty classic game, right? Everybody that knows those kind of board games know about Catan. It's a pretty classic game, resource kind of management game, but the rules, this also kind of ties into previous days where we talked about procedural rhetoric, which is the message that the game makes clear through its rules, coined by Ian Bogost. But essentially, um, these rules kind of convey some sort of story, right? So I don't know what the game this is on the screen right now, but you can basically see here. Oops. Yeah, I don't know what game this is on the screen right now. I kind of just pulled that image because I thought it'd be relevant. Um, but yeah, you can see there has some like boats, like ships and whatnot. So like even though you're not really looking too much in the story part of this, it looks like a resource gathering game as well. Um, Actually, maybe not because we got numbers here and all that, but it's kind of like, it kind of looks like a risk kind of thing. Um, Basically, there's some resources here. There's like little coins and what have you. People have like cards and whatnot that they seem to be trading. It doesn't look like they're playing it anywhere on the board. Actually, no, maybe they are. Maybe these are it. Maybe. Um, but yeah, I'm just like similar to like Catan, right? With games like this, you kind of have to look at like, okay, even though my game doesn't necessarily have a story per se, like, can the rules and the ways players interact with the game create that story? You know, again, this is very tied in with procedural rhetoric as well, and definitely a lot with like environmental story building or environmental storytelling, which we talked about in previous days. So feel free to check that out, YouTube folks, in the description, and Twitch folks in the bio. I have all the links, what have you. So yeah, let's take a look at an example here with a game I'm more familiar with, Forbidden Desert. So this is a pretty, I love this board game. It's so fun. But essentially, this game is a great demonstration of like world building with physical games. Also, I love the addition of that they have in this image of the actual storm, because I've never actually. That's really cool. I've never actually seen that. I know I created these slides, but still, like when I put this image in, I'd never actually seen the storm actually here. Because usually when you're playing the game, it's like an empty square, right? But this is really nice. Did they like design that or 3D print that? That's pretty cool. But yeah, so to take a look at world building with a board game, for example, as we said, Forbidden Desert, it sets up the world by giving players an introduction to what's happened till the start of the game on the cover. So on the little instruction manual, I believe on the back of the game box as well. But this is what it says here. Your team, oh your team. No, yeah, that's right. I thought that meant to say your team. Or not your team. You are a team. But no, this is your team adventurers has been sent on a mission to excavate an ancient desert city and recover a legendary flying machine that's rumored to be powered by the sun. Moments before arriving at your destination, an unexpected sandstorm forces your helicopter to make a crash landing. Now stranded in the vast desert and exposed to unrelenting storm, your only hope for survival is to quickly excavate the city, find the parts to the flying machine, and rebuild it for the escape. If, however, any of your team expires from thirst or the storm gets too intense, your whole team loses and you become permanent artifacts of the Forbidden Desert. So, yeah, that's a amazing example of like world building in board games. You really don't need much when it comes to board games per se. Whereas perhaps in a more digital video games, you would need kind of constantly be reminding the player about the story and the world because they're kind of interacting with it all the time. And it's kind of always expanding. Whereas in a board game, yeah, you can have like a little setup like this, or if you're doing a TTRPG, it works similarly to like a digital game, um, with its story and whatnot. Again, depends on what kind of video game you're talking about here. Certain, like, for example, shooters may not have all the story in them. Like FPS shooters may not necessarily have a set story, but there's definitely a story when it comes to the actual player's experience and whatnot, which we'll kind of cover a little bit later on here. But yeah, just an example of how we can have that world building in physical and digital games. So then, now that we've covered what is world building, how do we actually, like world build and keep that in mind when designing? Well, here are some things to keep in mind when designing a world for the game, no matter how simple or complex it is. Right? As we said, it could be a little prelude, like the Forbidden Desert kind of stuff, or it can be a whole like cutscene for a video game. So here are some elements that to consider. We have the narrative and dramatic arc, player loops, which we kind of covered very, very briefly, just as a mention previous days, and then formal and dramatic elements. So these two are kind of new. We kind of covered that a tiny bit, not officially on the slides, but just as a mention. And then, yeah, let's just go over them to see where to start with our world building. So, again, heads up, this is going to be a lot of information at once, so that's also the reason why I've kind of provided the slides and whatnot. I believe these are shared. If not, then I'll check after stream. But yeah, you guys are feel free to follow along with me as well, or keep ahead or what have you. But again, if you want to go back on some of these concepts, we do have the slides in the description, so check it out. Yeah, hopefully, chat. Hopefully, you guys are finding some use to this right now. Let's cover some dramatic and narrative arc. So why is it important and how can we use it? Well, there are many names for this kind of arc. Some referring to a more general narrative arc that you'd see in films or novels, other more specific, following like a hero's journey, and some kind of are referred to as, another name. For example, in our case, like dramatic arcs. No matter what you refer to it as, though, it generally kind of outlines the same thing. So, like how the progression of your quote unquote story or narrative will go, and how the various highs and lows um, will go as well. So, knowing this and knowing how to use these to your advantage in designing will help you create an experience that players will find fun, engaging, and full of life. So, let's take a look at some examples to get a better idea of this. All right, so the first type of kind of arc, the most classic one that I believe a lot of us already know, if not we've learned in our schooling and whatnot, is this classic like narrative arc here that we see with novels or any type of writing. Um, so it kind of starts with like the beginning. We have three sections: the beginning, middle, end, and then within those sections we have little plot points. So of course we have the like introduction. And let me use my little cursor here. We have like the story progression on this axis, and then we have like the tension here. Um, so right here we have like the beginning. This is like the introduction, getting introduced to our characters. The world's being set, and at some point, once we're used to the characters and establish the world and what have you, at this point we would get to the transition, which is our inciting incident. Something goes wrong or something happens that causes a triggering like rising action here, some sort of climax. This is usually like the peak of the story, um, and we'll kind of look into what that can mean in certain cases. And then this falling action going down here. So you see, this is like during the more of the middle section is the climax here. Then we go down to the end and the resolution. So kind of concluding all the narrative arcs, all the arcs of the characters, and what have you, and then slowly resolving into something that's satisfying. So considering game design, we can apply similar principles. So, if you're designing a video game, how does your character or group of characters go through these points in the story? If you don't really have a set story to consider, how are the ways the players interact with the world, and how does that generate a story? Kind of talked a bit about that before. But if you're designing a physical game, consider how the actions and overall goals represent these points, and how do you translate that into a quote unquote story. And of course, if you don't have one, and perhaps look at player loops to see where that will take you, which we will talk about next after this bit, though. But so with this in mind, this is very important to kind of keep in mind. And one important aspect, if you're kind of using this model, is to keep in mind the conflict and tension between your player and game, as it will help you kind of guide the creation of your game and make it more engaging and interesting. So take into consideration how other games go through this process and why certain arcs within the games we love work so well, right? Analyzing that down and saying, okay, what actually works about this? Why am I so drawn to the story, to the world, right? Is it because of the environment, the characters, what have you, right? So another kind of deviation off of this narrative arc, if that is the most standard one, this is kind of like a more specific, tailored one. It's called the hero's journey. So essentially, how this looks like is this kind of closed circle loop here, this little cycle, that a specific character will kind of go through throughout a story. So it's more character driven, which would kind of work for cases if you're making games that have. I mean, I guess even just really any game if you're playing as like some sort of character, right? I'm trying to think of any video games that would go through that. I guess Nier, as well, to kind of relate it back to stuff we talked about before. Nier Automata, we play as 2B, right? We kind of go through this hero's journey. While we haven't completed the game in its entirety, I do know that the game kind of. I did a little research and I saw that the game consists of like basically 3 playthroughs. You get one with 2B, one with 9S, and then one with A2, which gives you entirely different perspectives on the world and whatnot. And sure, like with 2B's playthrough, you get like 9S is there with you, right? But I'm sure at when we get into 9S's story, it's gonna be from his perspective, and sure, yeah, we may see like stuff with 2B, but I don't think that the creators would go that route because you kind of want to give a unique experience to all of them, just to kind of give some more perspective. But essentially, what I'm saying with that is that they all kind of follow their own like journey, if you will. They go through like their own like character arcs and whatnot throughout the game. That kind of close off. So kind of outline what the structure looks like. I know the points I've written down here are a little bit different. I'm drawing this information from a book that we'll take a look at later called Design and Storytelling, by Ellen Lupton. A very interesting design book. If you're interested in anything with like world building, storytelling, and just overall like design concepts, you don't necessarily need to use or understand all of the concepts. It's just kind of a how do I say? It's kind of like a breakthrough kind of book to help get your mind thinking about design and thinking about how designers think, I guess. Um, and us like game designers as well. We kind of think in a similar way. But yeah, so it goes through kind of this cycle. Some of this you'll kind of see here. It's the one that they had in the book is a bit more complicated than this. It has a bit more points. This is more like simplified. But for example, it goes through like the ordinary world, right? So it's just like an ordinary world when suddenly you get a call to adventure, and then it moves on to the refusal of the call. So something uh, prevents you from answering this call, and then you meet with a mentor, or like you meet with some figure. You cross that threshold, and you start like actually going into the adventure. You get all these series of tests. You meet allies, enemies, and then the approach section kind of just is another like transition point, until you get to this ordeal, death, or rebirth stage, where you kind of your mindset and kind of just whatnot kind of shifts from this point on, and then seizing the sword is kind of like seizing the I guess like the moment, if you will, and kind of coming to that realization, I guess, that full realization, and then you get that reward at the end, for that, and then pretty much everything up from this point is kind of just, again, if we look back to our initial graph here, it's kind of that falling action here. So you have that road back. It's a bit more calm now. Everything is coming down. That resurrection, return with elixir. So you return with some kind of reward, and then you come back around to this ordinary world. So once again, you're in this world, this ordinary world. So like just your everyday kind of thing. Um, and with games, speaking of more like digital games as well, we have another game that we showcased here on the Game Design Showcase on day, I believe, day 2. Shadowverse. It kind of goes through these in the story mode, at least. It kind of goes through this hero's journey as well, as it follows the different characters' story arcs and all that. Again, I haven't gone through all the story because my goodness, that has a ton of story. I think the game has been like a thing since, I want to say, at least 5 years at this point, if not like 8, 10. So there's a lot of story with that. So I don't know. Who knows? We might actually consider looking more into that today, but we'll kind of see. I'll see where that goes. But yeah, taking into consideration this story, this is very useful if you're, again, looking at more character driven stuff. With physical games, this would kind of look more like, I guess you wouldn't consider this too much. It's more so with digital games, um, because your players are constantly interacting with the world and kind of pursuing that story and whatnot. Whereas physical games is kind of just following a set of rules. You're not necessarily, unless it's like a tabletop role playing game or what have you, or something like that. You're not really engaging in the world's story or environment or whatnot as much. Like, sure, you can count the environment as the actual elements of the game, like the game board, the players, any like little tokens you have, but you're not really like, I don't know, if to draw on a game. We have, I think here. Yes. So there's a game called Coffee Rush. It's a nice little board game that kind of mimics. If you guys have ever played what's it called? What's it called? Gosh, why am I forgetting the name? It's so popular. Oh my gosh. No. Oh my gosh, I can't believe I'm forgetting it. What's it called? It's like cooking something. That one cooking game. What's it called? Cooking Fever. No, doesn't sound right. Oh gosh, what's it called? Okay, hold up. I need to search this up so I don't look like an idiot. Let's see. What's it called? Um, what's it called? Oh, Overcooked. That's what it's called. Okay, yeah. There we go. Overcooked. So yeah, that the game I'm talking about, which is Coffee Rush, kind of mimics that like Overcooked system, the digital game, where you kind of getting orders like back and back again and again. Um, and you kind of just have to sort of manage all the resources. You got to like, you're not necessarily working with in a team for that one, but it's more like a solo thing. Um, so I guess my point with that, and kind of tying it back to this, um, as you're not necessarily like in that game, even though, okay, so the game's centered around like it being coffee, right? You're centered around like being a barista, right, and all that. So you're not necessarily engaging with the customer, being like, oh hey, hello, talking to the customer as if they were an actual player. You're not necessarily doing that, or engaging the world in that sense. But you are like engaging in the world in the sense that you have those tokens. Um, you have like the board layout that kind of looks like a little barista like shop and whatnot. The board is like with ingredients and what have you. So in that way, you're kind of building the story, the hero's journey, or the narrative arc, or what have you. But again, it's definitely more prominent with physical games. When we get into player loops later on, then that kind of applies more with uh, with physical games a bit more. Again, it kind of also applies to digital games, but for the sake of sake of argument here, yeah. So the last type that we have I hope I'm not going too fast. I just want to get through this so we can get to our showcase, because I would love to take a look at Honey Heist and just design more of our own game here. Um, but yeah, last thing here, last kind of arc, if you will, is the emotional journey. So unlike the narrative arc that we kind of looked at, the default kind of thing that we think of when we think of arc character arcs and stuff, we kind of think of this plot. Um, the narrative arc kind of looks more at like story points in like a linear fashion. So like this happens, then this happens, then this, right? But the emotional journey kind of considers the interactions and plot points with a story within a story, and the person interacting with it, or the story who's the person's story who's being told, and how that makes them feel. So it's not necessarily like a series of events that happens, like this happens, this happens, this happens. It's more about like, okay, how do you want the person interacting with the story to feel, right? Maybe at the beginning you want them, want it to be like um, a bit more, how to describe, a bit more like a bit more sorrow, or like perhaps starting off very happy. So you'll see with some of these arcs here, it kind of follows that. It's not like a linear like introduction, middle, beginning, middle, end kind of thing. You could do the film even does this with like having a little I don't know, having a little intro perhaps that looks into a future scene or something, kind of act as a hook into the story, and then a time jumps back to like that beginning point that introduces all your characters and whatnot. Like, for example, in like Ratatouille, right? That film kind of starts off with Remy like going through the house, and then like crashing through the not the window, the yeah, no, the window, and then the frame freezes, and then he's like, well, I guess you're wondering how I got here, right? And then it skips back to the beginning of that story. So you can do stuff with that. The emotional journey is kind of more relaxed in how you can format it, right? Whereas the narrative story is a bit more structured and like this. So a good example of this is Boy Meets Girl. So, for example, how that happens, how the Boy Meets Girl story happens is that you have the boy here, any ordinary day, and then I believe he's something really bad goes on. Ooh, he's like getting real sad. Trying to see where this is going here. This is kind of a scale. We got the beginning, end. We got the good fortune and ill fortune, right? So you can see this is pretty ill fortune here. Um, so he's not, whatever the character's doing at that point, he's not really feeling great. But then boy meets girl, right? And then his day goes up. Ooh, you can see that shoots up to good fortune all the way up here, right? Better than he started off, and even at the peak here. So yeah, that's a very simple story arc. We also got the Cinderella story arc, where it kind of gradually gets a bit better and better, and then you see this kind of that's whip up here, good fortune, and then something happens that causes this to go down, right? Which in the context of Cinderella is like, the clock strikes 12 and everything like resets, right? Boop. She's not necessarily as sad as she once, in the beginning of the story, but she's definitely pretty devastated. So this goes down quite a bit, and then you get that arc here that goes up as she like continues on with her life. Um, and then at this point, it's probably like meeting the prince, finally finding out like, oh, the prince finding out like, oh, this is the girl that lost the slipper, right? So then it shoots up, and you get that infinite happiness, the happy ever after ending, right? So those are just some like simple like arcs as well. You could have some fun ones like this where it's from bad to worse. You're already starting off pretty bad, and then you kind of just it's not getting any better. So you could be really contrasting with this. You could really get like starting here, perhaps going even lower, and then dipping up, then going lower, maybe baseline for a bit, and then up, lower. It really is up to how you want to design that kind of emotional journey, with how your players and I guess, yeah, in this context, your players kind of interact with it. So this is very helpful when it comes to game design because it means we can consider how at each point in our quote-unquote story, it affects the emotional state of its characters, rules, mechanics, and players. So this is a great jumping off point to kind of analyze game loops as well, which we'll take a look in a bit. But yeah, as I was saying, that kind of narrative arc, this emotional journey, hero journey, whatnot, and a bit of the narrative arc is all taken from this book here. Um, Design is Storytelling by Ellen Lupton. So I highly recommend this again if you're interested in learning more about these narrative arcs in more detail, and just overall incorporating design knowledge into your products, services, or like personal creations. So feel free to check this out. I actually have a copy right now, right next to me on the desk here. Got it right here. Let's see if the mic will pick it up. Okay, not really, but yeah, I have the book right here. It goes through a lot of interesting things. Like we talked about, it kind of set in like the acts as well, the little acts that we have. So like Act 1 being the beginning, Act 2 being the middle, and then Act 3 being the end, right, with an intro and conclusion. So it's really interesting. In Act 1, they kind of talk about like narrative arc, hero's journey. They talk a little about story building, rules of threes, scenario planning, design fiction, and then in Act 2, they talk more about like the emotion side of things. Act 1 was more about the action side. Um, and the emotion side of stuff with Act 2, they talk about like, again, this is more like general, going into more general like design philosophies and concepts and whatnot. Um, it's got like a good amount of like practical stuff that you could kind of, or like you could translate some of these things to more practical things. Um, but definitely a lot of good research goes into this book. If you are a designer of any kind, of any skill level, whether it be professional or just kind of for fun, um, feel free to check out this book. It's really interesting. It covers a lot. It's a good like general coverage of things. It kind of gets your mind working. But yeah, on the emotion side, it talks about like experience economy, emotional journey, as we talked about, co-creation, persona. It talks a bit about emojis and colors and how that affects the human brain, which is really neat. And then Act 3 gets into the sensation, so the actual interactions with the design, so like the gaze, the what are these called? The oh gosh, the okay, sorry for my mispronunciation here, but the salt principles, I want to say. It talks about affordance that we kind of covered, I believe, in day one, where we kind of talked about like affordance. Did we talk about that? No, we didn't talk about that. I might have mentioned it, but yeah, we talked about like affordances. Or sorry, this book talks about affordances. It has like behavioral economics, and it's a bit more complicated subject, but also got multi-sensory design as well. So saying that like design's not just one sensory input, it's a bunch of things that we don't necessarily consider. And then it kind of goes into the aftermath and kind of explains the creation of this book. Yeah, it's really nice. I really love this. It has like really detailed like text as well as like these nice little art pieces that are made, nice little visuals. So it's not all text in this book. They have a really nice like visuals as well to help you kind of understand the concepts. Really cool. Yeah, check that out if you guys are interested. Story design and storytelling. Okay, with that being said, let's get into player loops real quick. I believe we're almost there. Don't worry, inventors. We are almost there. We have 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, wait, we got to. Actually, we don't got that much. Yeah, we don't got too much before we're done. We're kind of like halfway into the slides here, so hopefully you guys are enjoying this. I'm gonna take a little hydration break here. Hydration check, inventors. All right. Okay, so we kind of very briefly mentioned this in previous days. I believe on day 2 or 1. I believe it was probably talked about this day 2. Now that I'm thinking about it. But yeah, player loops. I'm gonna go a bit more in depth now on what that is. And we'll kind of look at this as well. So player loops. What are they and how to use them for games? So this is very important when you're designing either physical or digital games is just look at the player loops. So basically, they are aspects of both world building and game mechanics, as well as what the player experiences can kind of count towards that world building. Well, actions. Or sorry, what did I write here? Hold up. I kind of wrote this right before the stream started. So let's see. Looking more at game design. Player loops are aspects of both world building and game mechanics, as what the player experiences can count towards world building, while the actions itself and cycle that the players follow fall under mechanics. So we can kind of look at this from both perspectives as well. So, because in a sense it is also kind of tied in with game mechanics, kind of creating this loop based off some system. But yeah, player loops are kind of defined as a sequence of actions that players repeat to progress through a game. A common loop we see in physical games, let's say like a strategy card game, for example, like Shadowverse, kind of goes generally like this. Got like player draws card, and then they pick up or picks a card to play in their hand, puts it down, activates cards actions, and possibly using like any resources for it, and then they end their turn or like they continue doing turns, etc. Right, and then kind of loops back and forth between the players, or if it's like if it's like a solo thing, um, kind of just going through that loop over and over. But either way, they're going to kind of go through these common loops in the game. With digital games, game loops kind of work in a different way, because you're not necessarily having too much. I mean, you're okay. I can't really say too much again about digital game player loops, but just consider that like these loops here are very crucial in understanding how your game works. Because if you don't know like the cycles and whatnot that your game goes through, it's kind of gonna make a game that's not really doesn't really feel full, you know. So for example, in this image here, we have I assume this is Pokemon. This says upgrade Pokemon. So for example, we start at like explore, right? We're exploring the world, and then kind of encounters a Pokemon or something. We capture them, we collect them, we level them up, upgrade them, and then we continue to explore, encounter, capture, collect, level up, upgrade. Right? This is kind of how the Pokemon player loop kind of works. So if you guys are interested in knowing more about gameplay loops and like what kind of types of loops there are, I definitely advise you guys to check out this article. It's it's actually it's 3 years old now, but I think it's still pretty useful in terms of what kind of loops there are, and you can kind of get a branching off point from there. I personally found this really interesting, just because I didn't really understand much about game loops until I read this. So feel free to check it out, inventors, if you're interested in designing physical or digital games. I think it applies to both. Um, but yeah, check it out. It's pretty nice. Again, the slides are all linked in the description. If you're on YouTube, Twitch, folks, just in my bio, and as well YouTube folks, if you're there as well in the bio. Linked everywhere. You'll see it eventually. Be able to find it. But yeah, it has all the slides, and all these are linked as well. So hopefully we'll be able to, if you want, you can go into these. These are all linked, by the way. These like underlined sections are all linked. So I believe this image is linked as well, just in case. And then these are linked as well. You can see if they go somewhere. So yeah, check it out. All right, the last little bit we're going to talk about is game mechanics and what they are. So game mechanics refer to the core actions and systems that define how the game is played. They act as the binding that holds a game together. So examples of this could be like a drafting mechanic or deck construction, dice rolling, matching, role playing, in our case, and deduction. Again, there are a multitude of game mechanics out there, and ones that are probably going to be invented in the future. But those are just some examples of these kind of mechanics. Again, they kind of work as like as standalone categories, so and gives kind of this structure to the game. So they don't really help in determining what a player can do necessarily within that system. For example, like the main actions or the rules that you follow. But again, that's why we have like rules and guides for that, right? because the rules kind of guides how you're going to use those certain mechanics and whatnot within those systems, which we'll kind of see with Honey Heist, and we'll kind of see with our own game as well, and possibly some Minecraft as well if we look at that if we have time. But yeah, this then there are other parts of these game mechanics. In a more general sense, there are like these two categories: formal and dramatic elements. So, if you've never heard of this, basically it's described as elements that form the structure of a game, as well as give context to gameplay by integrating certain elements into meaningful play. Formal and dramatic elements form the basis of all games, regardless of it being physical or digital. Um, you might be wondering then, why is it so important? Why care about these formal and dramatic elements? Why consider the theory of it all? Well, understanding these elements can help us kind of structure our games, as we kind of demonstrated before, as well as creating meaningful rules and overall experience to players. Without it, as I said, games would kind of not have much structure to them and kind of feel bland. So we talk about this a lot with previous days, but if you don't have certain elements of a game, it's not really a game. You're not really piquing the interest in players that much, and the loops aren't really as interesting. I'll kind of go back to this loops idea as well, just briefly, because I just thought of something. But recently I saw a video. I know this has been probably out for a while now. Let's actually take a look. Just want to check when this game came out. Um, I know that a while ago. I don't know if they have a publishing date or not. Yeah, but a good time ago, we had V Card come out, which is a. It's not what it sounds like. It's a trading card game for VTubers. That feature a bunch of VTubers. It's by game. Let's see. The Gamer Subs company, um, and they are definitely a good demonstration of not really taking into consideration these player loops and what happens when you don't really put too much thought in the loops, when you don't really put too much thought in the. I mean, it's not really too much about the world building aspect of it, but definitely more of like the mechanics of it and all that, and not really considering formal and dramatic elements, because or probably more formal elements um, than anything. But if you guys don't know what that is, it's again a trading card game that they seem to be actually trying to make into a collectible like card game. They have like all these like booster packs and all that. So personal opinion from what I've seen, I haven't played it myself, but just personal opinion from videos and demonstrations I've seen, not that great. I'm not gonna lie. I remember at the time when this came out, a lot of people were kind of angry with the system, being like, "Oh my gosh, this kind of sucks." I'll be honest, it kind of does. The game itself does not play well. I don't know about how it is now. I know they've made like huge dramatic changes to it every time they update everything. Um, let's see. Yeah, I heard some people describe it as a glorified game of war. Have you ever played that card game before? It's just the kind of competing, see whose number's bigger. And just taking all those resources and then restarting again. But yeah, it's just hmm yeah, the game itself isn't really that great. Again, a good example of what happens when you don't take into consideration all these stuff. Player loop for that is it's simple, but it's simple in the sense that it doesn't work, because I don't think, again, this kind of plays back into to previous days as well, because in previous days we talked about playtesting, right? I don't think they playtested this game. I'm gonna be honest. I don't think anyone playtested that game before they came out. Because it looks very like rough. From some videos I've seen, there was a Yu-Gi-Oh player who collabed with Nova. I think we shouted her out before on the channel here, but with Nova, who's like someone who does like trading card game stuff, mainly Yu-Gi-Oh. Um, Another VTuber, but they basically did a little collab. They like play the game together. Kind of just test it out, see how it works. Yeah, not great, not great. I think it would be better as a standalone, like the collectible card kind of thing. Like not necessarily like a card game, right? Just like kind of working like those just like a little collectibles cards. I think that would be really nice because the art and stuff that they have on there is really cool. But anything other than that, I don't think it works. Frankly, I don't think it works. Again, signifies the importance of playtesting, the importance of all these elements that go into game design. It's not as simple as just putting an idea out there, going with it, and then not iterating on that. So yeah, let's take a look at these formal elements. I'm not going to go too in depth about it. We'll talk about this at the end of the week where you guys can learn more about this stuff. I just didn't want to cram too much today because it's already been a good while. Um, but just some elements of formal, or these formal elements would kind of, to think about the difference between formal and dramatic elements, think about it like this. So like formal elements are more of the outward facing stuff, so things on the surface of the game. So as you can see, this list kind of reflects that. We got the players, we got the objectives of the game, the procedures. I guess that would kind of count as the loops, the rules of the games, the resources that you have, any certain conflicts that might arise, boundaries for like, for example, like what can and what you cannot do, and then the outcome of actions and what have you. And then if you look at dramatic elements here, they are more the kind of driving force behind the scenes kind of stuff. So again, we'll see here we have world building in that. We have that dramatic arc. We have that story part of it. We have like a sense of challenge. We have the play. We have the actual premise of the game, right? All these things kind of build into not only I would say not only world building and game mechanics, but also just goes into making a game in general. Definitely consider these. I will maybe mention it at the end of the stream. I might also mention it as well, I guess, at the end of the week as well. I'll remember to put that in the slides for the end of the week. Or I might just put this in after the stream. But if you want to learn more about these formal and dramatic elements, there's this really nice text called Game Design Workshop. It covers, let's see, who's it by? Game Design Workshop by, I want to say it's, I should know this because I've been referring to a lot of my game design knowledge comes from that because I learned about stuff through there. Let's see. Sorry, inventors, I'm trying to pull it up here. I can't see my cursor on my screen. Oh gosh, that's fun. That is so fun. We love that. Okay, hold up. Oh, we love that a lot. Okay, that's fun. All right, no, yeah, we can see it now. All right, Zabai. Game design workshop. Yes. Okay, so Game Design Workshop by Tracy Fullerton. So that's TRACY FULLERTON. So Game Design Workshop. It's a very very nice text. If you guys can find it somewhere, I know it's selling on like Amazon. It's quite a bit on Amazon and what have you. I'm reading the I believe fourth edition, so the one with like the orangey cover to it. So that one is the fourth edition. Is it? Yeah, it is fourth edition. Yeah, the fourth edition of the text. But it's really interesting look into game design. It kind of covers a bunch of things. A lot of these topics that we talked about during the game design showcase will be covered there more in depth, as well as just how to get yourself into the industry as well if you're looking for that, which I haven't got to yet because the text is real long. But um, hopefully, one day I'll have some time to kind of sit down and read that as well. Let's kind of take a look. And they are, I'm pretty sure, somewhere out there on the internet. No, the internet being the internet, you can find free PDF copies, so you don't necessarily have to buy it because I believe it's like $100 or something like that, or depending where you are, it might be more. Um, or you might not even have access to it. So yeah, I'm sure if you like scroll the Google pages, you'll be able to find free copy, like I did. Might take a bit, but you should be able to find that. I will put that in the slides though after stream, so you guys can take a look at that. But now we've got into our game design time. So how that's gonna work? We're gonna kind of design our game a bit more, considering stuff for like world building and world building and kind of the concepts that we talked about today, world building and game mechanics. So we're kind of gonna incorporate that a bit as well to our game. We kind of did some naming as last time. We came up with a concept. So this is kind of like our story. This is part of our world building here. I'm gonna zoom up on this. This is our world building, our little prelude to the actual game. So we are designing here, for those of you that are tuning in and don't know what this is WBC Realms Journey Through Sky City. This is my personal take on a TTRPG. I don't have my own system yet, which is why I'm using the Honey Heist one. Though I have, I'm gonna log in on a separate page here. Okay, so we go. So we have two adventures. This is the one that we're working on right now, called the Solar Sprint Championships. I've made another one before called Starlight Horizon Adventure. So this takes place. It's a TTRPG, but it takes place. Why can't I? Okay, hold up. Okay, let's just do this. What? Oh my gosh. All right, copy, paste. Yeah. So this basically takes place um, in my like lore world, I guess you could call it, in our world here. This is the WBC Realms, so this is our like WBC split kind of world, I guess you could call it, or lore world, I guess. I don't know really what to call it. Being a VTuber, it's kind of a bit weird putting in my own world into this. I have to refer to it in the third person, but yeah, this is takes place in the Sky City. So I'm from the Sky City of Leviton. So this is kind of where this story that we're making right now kind of is centered, or not mainly, but it kind of takes place throughout the cities because it's supposed to be a journey, like a little race between all the Sky Cities, which we have come up with 7 of them. So each one pertaining to a realm in our world. You can see here, this is one I designed before using the Honey Heist system. We have a little story overview of what that is. And the character creation, everything's kind of taken from, again, Honey Heist based off that system. You'll see there's different realms of origin. So we have 6 main realms. Fire, water, earth, frost, sky, and astral. Astral is more like space and the universe and stuff. And then sky is, me, my realm, if you will. Think of realms as like, if you guys have watched like Avatar: Last Airbender, think of it like the different, the different nations, I guess. So in that sense, the astral people come from like, space and like the stars. So they're a very very intelligent people, but can be quite arrogant and steadfast, as described here. And then we have the skills, level experience. So I'm basically gonna kind of translate that to what we have here. So let's go to library again. We've translated some of that here. I tried to put in an image here, but it didn't seem to work. But yeah, we kind of had the same sort of setup. I'm gonna have to get rid of a lot of this stuff because this is from, all this information is from the Game Master's Guide to More Random Encounters, which I realize you guys can't see fully what I'm seeing. It's okay, we don't need to see that right now. But yeah, we're just gonna design a bit more of this, and after that, we will get into some showcasing of Honey Heist. So you might recognize these people if you're in the TTRPG space, but this is the people of Critical Role. So we'll kind of look at their playthrough of Honey Heist, not the full thing, because the full stream's like 3 hours, and I don't necessarily want to get bonked by any Twitch or YouTube for reacting to the full thing. We will take a look at the first 30 to 45 minutes, depending, just enough so we get an idea of how they kind of build their world and how the mechanics of the game work into in tandem with all this. And then afterwards, we might go into Minecraft and kind of just chill out for the rest of the night. But yeah, we'll see. I kind of want to spend more time though designing this game because I haven't been working on it too much. So hopefully we can get some more in that. That's kind of what I'm hoping. Schedule in some of that. But yeah, that's the game design part of it. So let me quickly just reformat the screen here because this is the slide view. I need to get into the desktop view now. Okay. What we'll do, we'll actually go to our full screen here. You guys can kind of just see what we're all working on. All right, let's head to that. All right, cool. So now we have the full screen, so you guys can see everything that's going on here, and you'll be able to see the full thing here as well. Yeah. Welcome to my room, I guess. Welcome to the room, adventures. So yeah, hopefully you guys have enjoyed Game Design Showcase. That was not all of it. That's like the first big half of it. This is the next little third of it that we're gonna design game, kind of translate it. I don't know where I want to get to this today. Maybe. Okay, definitely solidifying the story. Probably translating. Oh yeah, we probably want to look. If we're looking at world building today, we probably want to look at locations that we want to use. So I might look at my Game Master's Guide of more random encounters. See if we want to pull any locations from that, or if we want to, do something else. We will have to look at the narrative arc, right? As we said, the flow of the story. So that would be interesting as well. Again, because it's a TTRPG, I can't really set too much in stone. A lot of it's gonna be based on the player experience and what have you. And then, yeah, eventually in true like game designer fashion, we're gonna playtest this at some point. But yeah, it's gonna be interesting. And then, yeah, we'll head right into Critical Role stuff afterwards. All right. Alrighty, inventors. I'm just gonna move my camera here, my YouTuber model on my end here. All right, hopefully it's still tracking. All right, nice. Okay, here we go. This is more like this is where the stream gets a bit more chill because we're not like covering a bunch of game concepts. So yeah, that's it. Last reminder: the slides are in the description. You can see them everywhere. So we'll be if you want to look back on those, feel free to. We're just gonna kind of chill now. I think what I'll do as well, just to so it's not complete silence. I might, yeah. You know what? I'm gonna. Dude, I can't remember how I did this before. I'm gonna add some little BGM music. I might just put in our. Nah, I don't want to be lazy and just put in the starting stream song. Um, put in some. Do I have it on this screen actually? Ooh, I don't think I do. Ooh, okay, hold up. We're gonna try to get some. Yeah, it's not here. Huh. So which screen didn't have it in? The chatting? Yeah, I did. Okay. I can bring that over quickly. Just make some new stuff here. Boop boop. Okay, so I think we'll put on some let's put on some music. All right. Let's see what we got. We're gonna play some non-copyrighted music here. I don't want to get bonked. Right. Let's shuffle play some of this NCS stuff. Can we shuffle this? Okay, I guess not. Or actually, no. I guess we can once we start playing it, right? Okay. Got cradles. Okay. Let's see if we can. Yeah, we can shovel it. So just shuffle this, and then we bring in the picture by picture. Okay. So this it should be. All right, nice. All right, inventors, we got some music. Hold up, I'm just gonna put this. Put it. I want to put it here. I'm just gonna move the capture to fit that. You know what? Do this. You guys can't see what I'm doing right now, but I'm just kind of modifying the stream a little bit, moving stuff around. Okay. I don't want to say this here. Okay, let's show you guys what I'm seeing right now. Do that. Set up some music. I wonder if I enlarge this, will it bring it up? Oh yeah, well, neat. I'll kind of get bigger as well. Let's just go back to the size it was. We can kind of make it bigger, I guess. Yeah. Okay, we'll put the music at the bottom here. I'll move my model up. All right, cool. I don't like how I'm gonna move my model down a bit. You guys can kind of. There we go. All right, cool. Well, hopefully this is going through. Make sure you guys are hearing this. Yep. All right, cool. Also, let me know, chat, if the music is too loud. It actually might be too loud. Hold up. So there's probably double audio because the. Okay, hold on. Let's turn off this. Okay, hopefully that fixes things. This is a bit loud. I'm gonna turn it down a bit. Have that little subtle noise in the background. We work. All right, cool. Again, chat, let me know if at any point the music is too loud. We can kind of turn down. All right. It's also just for me because I don't want to sit here in silence. All right. Let's see. Story here. Okay. The last time we kind of named all these cities, each city kind of refers to one of the 6 realms, and then we have in the lore wise, we have our founding city. So the first city that was made. I don't know what to call it yet because I had to come up with the names lore wise for our creators, creators of the Sky City. So I don't know. If you guys have any suggestions, do let me know. Just anything that kind of sounds steampunky, any names. If you guys have any suggestions, let me know. Either right now here in the chat or just on the VOD or Twitter. I would love to know. Let's see here. Okay, so we want kind of escape as the final goal. Some inspirations here. Okay, so I think what we'll do here, let's outline the general kind of story, I guess. Or maybe that won't, yeah, that probably won't work until we have the location. So I know we're gonna at some point visit all these cities, so that's locations, but then we're kind of just passing by it because it's it's a race, right? Through the Sky Cities. But not to say like every city is gonna take like, you know, under 5 minutes to get through. Our vehicles aren't that fast, but okay, so we did put here in the game notes, incorporating escape, something that something that your team has up their sleeves, and then table roll for like type of vehicle or race car. So at some point we need to like have a location to supply this, so we could have that as one of the starting spots before you do anything. Perhaps you start at the city of Leviton, and then make your way. It wouldn't make sense. I feel like making your way to Asphere would kind of be the last point because it's space, right? It's in the wider galaxy of things. I guess starting in the sky would kind of make sense, and then or would it? I don't know. That might be interesting to consider. little something. It looks like the playlist is shuffling. It's good. What I can do? Wonder if I want to put it actually above my head. That'd be better. So it's not in the way. Yeah, I think that would look better. All right. Do another hydration check. All right. Yeah, so okay, just to recap what cities we have. We have Leviton, Astria. So Leviton's the city, is My Sky City. It's the city of flight. So imagine, like, I don't know why I said flight like that. Flight. City of flight. So imagine everything in that has to do with flying or levitation. We specialize in. Kind of hence the name, right? Leviton. City of Astria, so City of the Stars. They have a lot of like research outposts that study the stars, the universe, and the galaxies. They also have blimps that go to like different planets as well. So if we go to, check my library here. If we go to this was set in the Sky City of Astria here. It's a bit more serious adventure. You have to kind of, there's more an adventure where you are a group of outcasts, once known as the Defenders of Reality. As you try to claim your titles back from that initial outcasting, because there was this otherworldly creature that kind of invaded this town and destroyed and unfortunately ended a bunch of lives in that town and surrounding towns and whatnot. Your team couldn't stop that big foe, so now your title has kind of been tarnished, if you will, because if you can't defend against something that big, you know, how are you going to defend against anything? Your title is kind of screwed at that point. Defenders of Reality. I don't know what kind of reality, you know, definitely not mine. But yeah, you know, that's kind of the outlook that a lot of citizens and people in outer towns kind of see you or know you by. So they're not really going to be too accepting of all that you do. So it's kind of just that story of getting that title back, facing that monster, and making friends along the way. But yeah, it's definitely more intense of a story than what we're gonna have today, or what we're designing right now. Solar Sprint is definitely more fun, very, very much more fun based. I feel like it's gonna be more free as well in terms of what you can do, as well. I might go faster actually because it's a race, but again, I have to see in our design how that's gonna go. So what I'm gonna do, go location, notes. Also, give me a second, mentors. I'm gonna take a look on another device here how the volumes are doing for this stream. Just want to make sure the music is all right. On my All right, cool. Yeah. Okay. So we're looking good when it comes to the audio of everything. Nice. I'm just gonna put my, oh gosh, what is happening? Put my headphones back on. We're gonna keep going. All right. So location wise, I think gotta have some like, so like usually with these adventures you start like a tavern, perhaps like maybe like a tavern or like a hotel probably, or some sort of inn, right? And then yeah, your team has, okay, I've format the story is that your team has kind of applied for this racing thing and tried year after year, but it's never really actually won the race before. I don't know if that means like you have a lot of enemies, or if you're kind of trying out, you're not really a big name, so not really a lot of people know you. Maybe that's what you're trying to do, trying to make a name for yourself, perhaps. Unlike unlike with the other adventure, you're not reclaiming a name, you're making a name for yourself. Yeah, that's interesting. Okay, so yeah, we start at some sort of starting location, like a tavern, inn, whatever, and then perhaps we go to so maybe like from here, I'll say location / story notes, because it might be a bit of both. So perhaps from here, like you hear about the... Actually, you wouldn't hear about it, would you? Because in the context of this, you've been trying year after year, so you already know about it. Perhaps someone at like the tavern or like whatever starting location you're at mentions that. I don't know if I want to kind of put them the players right into the center of the action and be like, okay, you're already at like the parts shop looking for stuff, what have you. Again, that could be an interesting like table roll, but we'll kind of see. So maybe saying that your team is like, where would you apply for this, right? Or where would the race start is probably a better idea. You think it starts at the founding city? That'd be kind of cool. Like it starts there because the founding city has all like the, what's it called, the Hall of Fame and all that. So maybe that's like a big motivator. It starts there because it's not tied to any of the other cities, and then you can kind of go wherever. Oh, that's neat. Yeah, that's kind of cool. I like that, and I like the idea as well. I'm kind of thinking of this now, but like, I like the idea that the founding city kind of, you start there, and then perhaps if we just be imaginative here and just play into that fantasy element, we kind of, maybe we're looking at like when they officially announce the race to start. I'm just gonna turn down the music real quick. But like when they announce the music, what, they announced the music? They announced the race to start, the, you know, the championships to commence for this year. Maybe there's a big like some flourish or like confetti, like poo poo, right? A big like effects and whatnot, and then we perhaps would have like perhaps like a huge bridge or some sort of starting track kind of just forms from the city. That'd be kind of cool. Starting track or like bridge or something, or like jumping off point. That'd be kind of cool. It'd also be kind of nice if you don't necessarily for this. Okay, back to my previous idea. I'm just gonna finish this thought here, but kind of like Free Guy, you know, if you guys have seen that movie, kind of like, especially with like the later in the film when they start hacking and whatnot, the what's his name, Keys, he starts like creating these structures and what have you throughout the game. It's kind of, I imagine kind of like that. It kind of takes parts and kind of, you know, from, not necessarily from like buildings and whatnot, but like it takes something. That'd be kind of nice to be like, oh wait, okay, I'm thinking now, like maybe how it looks in the world is that there's like these statues or something that, or this like the big cup, right? This World Cup looking thing, and that like decomposes, like breaks apart, and then transforms into like a starting line kind of thing. Oh, that'd be kind of neat. Oh, that's cool. Just to kind of imagine that huge like golden chunks of metal. Just kind of it doesn't make necessarily any like disorienting sound, like not like a metal scraping metal kind of sound, but kind of this magical like little twinkle, right? Because the founding city is like the first Sky City, so it took a lot of effort to build it, and they have the most iterations out of all the other ones, meaning that like they had the most time to improve things because they're the first city, right? So I imagine they are very like super advanced, more advanced than any of the other Sky Cities, in terms of their technologies and stuff. Because it's kind of like a combination of all the other cities together in one place, whereas the other places kind of specialize. It's kind of interesting. Yeah. What was my other thought? Perhaps it's not just all like car racing. Maybe we have sections to reflect each city, right? Maybe there's for my city, the city of Leviton, maybe we have we had to fly in wingsuits or something instead of cars, and then maybe for Astral you had to, I don't know, it's like a Rainbow Road situation, which would be kind of neat. For the Realm of Frost city, Galicia, perhaps it works on like, I don't know, some of these might be more interesting also to like teleport you down to the surface as well. That'd be kind of neat. Like I can imagine Astria doing that, or Astria taking you to the literal stars. Like you get shot out on a blimp or something to like the far reaches of space, and you kind of literal Rainbow Road in space. It'd be kind of neat. Frost with Glacia, maybe like maybe on like certain mountains and stuff that are on that Sky City, I want to say, or again going down to the Earth and actually riding on that. That'd be kind of cool. And then Sunreach with the City of Light is supposed to be the reflection of the Realm of Fire, so again, something to do with like heat, perhaps lava, volcanoes. That kind of neat. But maybe each Sky City has their own like mode of transport, right? Or like features some sort of mode of transport, and it kind of cycles every year. That'd be kind of neat. It cycles every year. Let's write this down actually, so I don't forget. So like perhaps. Yeah, so maybe that makes sense as well as to why you would want more. You would want to form a team, because sure you can have like with racing, right? If you're thinking Formula One, it's kind of already have that team, I guess you could call it. With yeah, you kind of already have that team. All right, where you're kind of all going around the track, but just make it more interesting. Maybe every person kind of is like a tag team thing for each city, right? Or like there's some people that know their way around certain know their way around certain like race stuff. Like perhaps if we had someone from the Realm of Sky, they would definitely know more about wings, the wingsuit flying part, or something like that, right? That'd be kind of neat. Huh, cool. Let's write that down here. Perhaps you start at the founding scene with each mode. That. Okay, I think that's how archetypes. Yep. Would you guys? I guess then if this would incentivize diversity of realms, then should I have this chart or should I just have them pick? Because they could, right? They could have like a diversity of these. Because if we quickly just roll d6, roll dice. Like if we quickly roll d6, we got a 3 here, right? Which is Earth. Let's say we're playing with 6 players. So let's just roll 6 dice. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Right, we can. Oh gosh, we have 3 dupes of 6, so 3 dupes of Astral, and then 4, 3, 5. So Frost, Earth, Sky. Right, we don't have any one of the water or fire. Probably want more diversity, right? It's not to say that like those people won't know anything about it. They're just less inclined to that nature, I guess. That can be interesting. Because, like, sure, you're all part of the same team, but if you're also, like, within that team, you're of different realms, it does give you an advantage. Because if you think about this, like, if there's a real race, there are floating cities on the sky, then I think it would be interesting to have, like, your team members comprised of people from different realms, right? Not necessarily of, like, the sky cities either. Different realms as well. That could be interesting. Oh wait, hold up. That gets me thinking. Maybe we have background roll table. Yeah, I'm definitely seeing a lot of extra rolls here. I don't think we need the level experience per se. Because you guys have been going that year by year, so I don't think we can replace this. And the skills as well, we can kind of replace with what's relevant with the race. Character role, perhaps as well. Yeah. We have more room to play around with here. But maybe have a background table that determines... I was gonna say this determines, like, your heritage, I guess? Or, like, whether you're from the surface of the sky cities, right? Because if you're part of because the realms are like the peoples, right? But if you live in the sky cities, then you have more, a bit more about the city. So this would perhaps, like, if you were on the surface, right? Because I know for us in the realm of sky, we have 2 like distinct areas. We have our sky cities, and then we have the surface people, right? The people on the surface, which is where I used to be from. My rest of my family's on the surface, but it's because the only reason I haven't brought them up here yet is just because financial reasons. It's so expensive to get a place up here, but it is what it is. You would have to have like some sponsor up here, or like some method of just having more income. Like if you had a higher paying job, or like anything like that. You had enough funds to kind of give that to your family, right? Because it's a floating city in the sky, so it's a lot to kind of maintain. They have a lot of pretty high costs. It's obviously, since we have so many cities now, it's definitely gone down a bit, but still pretty high because it's a lot of technology that requires a ton of maintenance, a ton of skilled people. But yeah, so I would say maybe determines background role table that determines like whether they are. I'd have to explain more of the lore then, I guess. They're from the surface or native Oh wait, surface. Born. Oh, whoops. Born in the sky. Born in the sky cities, or born from the surface. Born in the sky cities, or born on the surface, then invited to the sky cities, etc. Right. So I guess just simplify this down. Basically, their familiarity with general location, right? Because if they live like me, like if I were to participate in this and we get to the Sky City, right? Even though like I may not know all the parts of this Leviton, right? I will still know like a good amount because I live here, right? And the city's not too big. They can't make it, you know, too big just for sake of it casting a shadow, you know, at the bottom of on the surface and all that, kind of killing plant life really at the bottom. They're kind of looking into right now. People are kind of looking into that, kind of to solve that issue, but because that's a pretty big issue. If you're casting that big of a shadow, plants underneath it aren't getting much sunlight, and especially we don't want to build it. You know, we don't want to build those sky cities above towns and whatnot because they're basically not going to get any sunlight, which is not great. Not great for anyone. But also means they're kind of protected from the elements, right? Because there's such a big city kind of blocking them from that. But again, not always the best thing. All right, let's see. So it incentivize having teams and make for. Okay, I do hope by the end of this week we can actually complete this. I'll have to do some work off stream, but I say we go until like let's give it like 15 more minutes and then we will, yeah, let's get like 15 more minutes and then we will switch to some honey heist stuff and kind of demonstrate world building and game mechanics through that. But yeah, let's see. This would incentivize teams instead of make for incentivize having teams and make for interested. Whoop, interesting combos. Yeah, so also let me call it by its actual name here. The solar sprint. Also, the solar sprint is open to any and all teams. So let's determine a number here for how many participating teams there usually are every year. So every year there are about, I would say a good amount. I would say about like 1 to like, you gotta put this in scale because the sky cities are humongous. They're if you looked at them, like if they were actually visible in the sky, which they aren't necessarily because they're above the cloud line. So like it's not as visible. Sometimes you'll see it if you know the clouds are, you know, if the clouds that day aren't really showing, to kind of see how it looks. It's this huge, massive thing in the sky that if you were of any other world, you might think is like an alien thing, you know, floating like a UFO or something floating in the sky, but it's just, no, people are living up there. Obviously, we can't get too high because at that point we kind of disturb air trap like other things, and it's just not safe to build that high. Actually, how high is the skyline? Maybe I'm getting this wrong. How high is the cloud line? How high up is that? How high up are clouds? Okay, like, oh gosh, 6,500 feet up in the air. That's interesting. Interesting. So more than 15,000 feet above the ground. Wow. Okay, so we're definitely on the minimum level in the sky to consider a floating island in the sky, right? We're not like a few feet above the ground. That would be kind of pathetic. But can you imagine just like the whole city just hovering above the ground? That would kind of weird. But so if you guys are wondering how you actually get up to the cities, mainly by blimp, but because there's like docking stations and whatnot for like resource blimps and like travel blimps and what have you. But depending on what realm you're from, it really like will depend. If you're from Astral, it's like a teleportation kind of circle that leads you up there. If you're from Glacia, then actually I don't know how they do it at Glacia. I think it's through like the surface part of the realm. They have some sort of transport system that beams you up. I don't know, that beams you up, I want to say, or like some sort of unique way that they make their way up there. From what I hear from Bishop, he says that it's kind of similar to Astral, but like they perform this ritual essentially, from what I remember. Perform this ritual that kind of what does it do? It kind of like not necessarily freezes your body to the point of giving you frostbite, but it kind of chills your body, and then you're in like this magical like little whiff of I don't know, snow magic, I guess you could call it, for lack of a better word. You kind of slowly kind of disintegrate into these like little snowflake things that they send out along like the winds, the gusts of wind, and then it travels up to the city, and then you kind of reform up there. It's kind of neat. I actually really like that. It's a really cool way of how they get up there. For people of Sunreach, I would assume since there's the City of Light, it has to just do with light beams, I guess. Like a UFO type light beam, just woo, they kind of bring you up through there. Water, pretty self-explanatory. I think their city has water that actually flows down to the surface, which I guess in that case means that they aren't as high as the other cities. Because, you know, if you have water flowing from like super high, the winds, right, will affect it, and you're basically just creating a thunderstorm at that point. Just because you see stuff like in Minecraft and whatnot, you see these waterfalls flowing down to the surface. I'm just thinking, like, is there no wind? Is there is there no wind in that world? Because like if there was, you know, like in our world, that would just blow into the atmosphere, and then it would just kind of always kind of be humid everywhere. So yeah, I'm assuming that they have some sort of unique water transport. They kind of work similar to Glacia because they're kind of close. I guess you could call it relatives. Because frost is just anything ice related is just kind of related to water, right? Frozen water. And then the realm of Earth, probably a similar method. Previous ones. Actually, I don't know for Earth. They probably just take blimps. Or maybe they don't. I don't know. So yeah, so we have Sunreach, Glacia, Astria, Leviton, Nen, and then Tritonian is the city of substance. Really neat. Okay, let's so every year there are about let's say there are how big is the Formula 1 thing? How many teams are in 10 teams of how many 20 drivers? Total of 20 drivers and 10 teams. Okay, so that's wow. Okay. There's about okay, wow. It's about wow. Okay. I would say the solar sprint is definitely way bigger than that, scale wise, because the cities are so big, right? So I would say every year they're well over, say 1,000. Or actually, let's compute this for a sec. 100. See if we. So Formula One, for context, is like around 200 people. So if we're taking into consideration, saying 100, how many teams are we saying? 100 maybe? Well over 100 teams. Both, all with like teams of 6, I guess? 600? Or I think it'd be way bigger than that though. It's like 1,000 probably. Because it's like an open race, right? So really anyone can win. Right. You don't need much to apply. You just need to... I guess you do need to go through the qualifying race. That's true. You go through the qualifying race, and then you have to... That's when you actually get in, I guess. Do they host qualifying races then? Let's just say your team has qualified then, if we're saying that. Your team has already like applied and qualified for that. You just need a cart at this point. You're just gathering resources for the race. So if let's say every year there's around like 10K applicants in the qualifying race, which sounds like a lot people, but that's like divided by, so that's okay, that's not a good number. So let's go by 5. Okay, so on average there's like, let's say 10,000 applicants with around 5 players per team. So that's 2,000. What am I trying to solve here? I guess just how many teams go through. All right, with 5 teams each. All right, so there's like 2,000 teams. That's right. So 2,000 out of the 2,000 teams of 5 people, around 5 people each. Of course, there can be smaller teams as well. Just on average, it's around 5. Perhaps only like a third of them make their way through. I mean, half is 1,000. It's still a lot. So maybe only like by the end of that, maybe only around 600 teams make it. Let's say there's well over 1,000 applicants in the qualifying. Oops. Yeah, we'll sail only about let's make it more fair. Only about like 1,000 teams make it to the first round. Then about half that makes it to the second. Let's go half of that, I guess. It's only logical, right? 250, or maybe we say it's even more aggressive. We go about 200. Make it the first round, then about 500 teams make it to the second, 200 to the next. There are that's 6 rounds, right? So 200. We go 200 divided by half again. 100 teams, 5 people. So there's 500 people still. So that's 100 teams. Make that a bit more aggressive here. Yeah, I think that's a good curve. So, also open to any and all teams. Every year there are well over 10,000 teams of 10,000 people of around 5 teams each in the qualifying races, but only about 1,000 teams make it to the first round. Then about 500 make it to the second, 200 by the third, 100 by the fourth, 50 by the fifth, and then 25 by the sixth, and about 10 teams in the final race back to the founding city. Yeah, I like that. So 10 teams of, on average, 5 people. Yeah, so it's a good roster, I'd say. Alright. So now that we've established that, let's get our locations here. So starting location, some tavern, and then your team. Let's say your team has qualified. Make it easier. Has qualified. They're in the... Yeah. So your team... And there'll be obviously like downtime between the races as well. It's not like it's like a back-to-back kind of thing, because that would be very tiring for everyone. So probably takes course in the span of like a few months, I would say. If not like half a year, or if not, yeah, probably half a year, and then they take the other half of the year to prep for next year, I guess. Yeah, that makes sense, right? Or maybe would it take 6 months? I don't know if that's a real long race. If it takes 6 months to complete, again with downtime between, but like, no, I think it should be taking at least like 3-4 months. I think 6 months is way too much. 3 probably at the most. Yeah. So time scale. Let's actually write that down. As a whole, takes about let's say 3 to 6 months. So think of it kind of like the Olympics, you know? It's like an ongoing thing. As a whole team, yes, the race as a whole takes about 3 to 6 months to complete, with breaks between, and yeah. So like, think it like Baseball Olympics. Olympics? Okay, cool. So you start at that starting location, your team perhaps gathers stuff. So your team coming right from their location of race. And are prepping for the first round and winning. Yeah, so I would say the qualifying races do get kind of like broadcasted and streamed. Actually, do they? Do the Olympics do that? The Olympics are every 4 years, right? So again, that's like a way bigger than this race. This race isn't as big as the Olympics, I would say, but definitely bigger than like Formula One, which says something about how significant this race is to the people. But not as big as Olympics, but definitely a very niche kind of thing. But there's a good following for it, especially in the Sky Cities. Okay, so the Olympics stream there. Okay, so they do that. Okay. I wonder if I don't know if we need to note this down for that. Your team coming right from the qualification race, settle down, explode city, and are prepping for this first round and the official start to the solar sprint. So like possible places to visit may be some restaurants. I don't know, restaurants. I can never spell restaurants right. I always need autocorrect for that. Some restaurants, tool shops, okay, let's say not racing related. So restaurants. What else? Restaurants. Parks maybe. Parks. Shopping centers. Say other realms on the surface, etc. And then at some point your team gathers what they need for the race. Let's say perhaps determined by dice roll. Go to a specialized take place on the founding city. So they go to a specialized shop that sells and builds all the racing components they need for, yeah, all the racing components they need for yep. And then yeah, I don't know what they're good doing their downtime between the races. We also have to determine an order as well, but I think we'll leave that to later. We kind of looked in a bit of world building here with these little notes here, as well as perhaps some more roles and stuff, and just discussed a bit more about the mechanics of it all with all these dice rolling stuff, which is a mechanic we covered. Yeah, a lot of the Honey Heist system works on dice rolls and like role playing and stuff, so big on that. But I think that's where we'll take it here for this portion of the game design showcase. We'll be back in a little bit just to take a look at Honey Heist to kind of showcase everything in a more practical sense with a game. So again, if you guys know these people, these are the Critical Role folks. And we'll kind of look at their playthrough of Honey Heist, not the full thing, but a good amount of it. Probably go for like, again, like I said here, 30 to 45 minutes or so of that. Feel free to check out this this stream if you guys want to on YouTube and what have you. You can watch the full thing on your own time, but we're just gonna watch a little bit of it, or enough to like understand world building mechanics, narrative arc, all those formal and dramatic elements and what have you, and the player loop. So we're kind of watching until we are familiar with those, and then kind of get to know those a bit more, because unless we actually test our game, you don't really know exactly how this whole system works. It might be interesting to bring on other VTubers as well to test this game with me. That'd be cool in the future. And if any of you in the chat are willing to playtest this as well, maybe we could set something up. It'd be cool. But yeah, for now, let's see. We'll take a 5-minute break. We'll be 5 to 10 minute break, just freshen up and whatnot, and then we'll be right back for some reaction to this Honey Heist. Can't wait to show you guys how this whole system works. I only watched like a tiny bit of their stream on this, not the full thing. Haven't got through all that yet, but because it is quite long, it's like 3 hours long, which is why we're not gonna be watching all of it, and I don't want to stay up that late. But yeah. All right, inventors, I will see you in a bit, in like 5 to 10 minutes. All right, BRB. I also might grab some food, so feel free to grab a snack if it's late for you, or if you just wanna. We'll be back for some Honey Heist. All right, see you guys later, just in a bit. Eventers, oh my gosh, I'm so sorry guys that it took so long to get some food and whatnot, but we're back. Welcome to the next part of the game design showcase. Hope you guys had a nice little break as well. Hope you guys grabbed some food and whatnot. But yeah, welcome back to the second part of the game design showcase, where we showcase a game to kind of learn about and understand the concepts that we learned in the first half. So we're going to be looking at some critical role now. Hopefully everything goes well. I got some food. I got warmed up some burgers and what have you. Surprisingly, it takes way longer to warm this stuff up than you think, especially going from something that was cold. So yeah, you'll kind of see me, maybe hear me munching on that. Yeah, welcome back. Let's get right into it. We're gonna look at some critical role and honey heist, because that's the system that we're working with as well. So it'll be interesting. Let's see how they play it, how they kind of do like the world building stuff.
Welcome back. Where we last left off.
Inventors, do let me know how the audio is as well.
Oh, should I go over rules now?
I figured that we can just go right into it.
Where we last left off was rules before we actually
Backseat DMing, yep.
before we jump in. Honey Heist is a super simple game. Everyone is a bear. The bear has a special skill. We'll see that as we go along. And you will eventually be getting rolls. And you are trying to heist the motherlode of honey.
Yeah, so let me just go to real quick. So if we look at honey heist here, you can see them rules. So it's really easy. This is kind of basically what the guys over there are going over. They might have modified it to kind of fit with their stuff. But generally, this is kind of the format that we're going to follow as well. This is Grant Hewitt's Honey Heist. With thanks to all of, to all out of bubblegum. 3, whatever this means, 316, and weirdly hilarious. But yeah, so it's really simple. Just one page for the players with a bunch of roles that they do. Very simple stuff. And then another role here for the GM, or another page here, I should say, for the GM to set up locations, organizer, what the big prize is at the end, any security features, what have you. So for the most part, I think they're going off that system. If not, actually, what year was this? This is 7 years ago. Yeah, so this is when it like came out, more or less. So yeah, it'll be interesting to see how they play it.
Heists. So you have 2 stats, your bear stat and your criminal stat. You start the game with 3 points in each of the stats. This is a D6 based game, so whenever you do anything remotely bear related, you're going to roll your bear stat, and you want to try and get the number equal to or under how many points you have in bear. Criminal is anything
Right, they're also
basically
kind
not
of
related.
here.
to
They're
being a
also
bear.
kind of
That's
explain like
quite
the game
literally
mechanics
actually
as
what
well.
it says. Not do anything directly related to being a bear. Same thing.
Yeah, so
Equal to or under, right?
here, yeah, they'll kind of explain like the game mechanics as well. Just so we know like how the game works.
From bear.
We'll be using the system to design our game. But yeah, you'll see like some of them have a little character sheet
Getting a little
going on.
aggravated, or the plan starts not working out in your favor, you might move a point from criminal into bear. The more frustrated you get, if you reach 6 points in either stat, you either turn into an insane criminal mastermind, betray the party, and decide to bounce, or you go completely feral as a bear and can't really function being a criminal anymore, and you're out. So you don't want that to happen.
Another way to die? Like if you fall off something, do you die? What happens?
Just don't jump off any cliffs. That's my recommendation.
You just get more frustrated from falling off a cliff.
Okay.
Become more bear-like.
More bear-like, yeah. I
Cliffs
guess.
can't kill bears.
No. No, it's very cartoonish.
Yeah.
It doesn't really cartoon physics. Just don't look down if you decide to walk off a cliff.
Forest fires kill bears.
No, they don't. That's why I
It's true.
keep telling us to fight them.
If you feel like you're starting to get a little too berry, you can flash back to a criminal planning sequence in order to move a point from bear into criminal. Or if you're feeling
So
a
that's
little
another
too shady,
another aspect
you
of the
can
game
eat a nice
where
little
you can do
whole
like you can
snack of
trade
honey
stats
to move
around.
a
You don't
point
want your
from
stat to be
criminal
too high.
back into bear. So you
Either or else you lose.
Honey stashed on
No.
it. We have to find it and eat it.
So there's that nice balance there. It kind of works like if any of you have played
I think we
the
get started.
Avatar: Last Airbender kind of thing, it kind of works similarly to that, I would say, in terms of how the system works and all that.
Ease into it.
Yeah, pretty interesting.
No Wookiees. No Wookiees. Hereby ban on Wookiees.
Oh, I should go.
Well, no, it's my plan to die in the first half an hour.
No, this isn't the zombie
That's how
apocalypse.
we rigged it.
All right. It's autumn. 2 years after the defeat of the Chroma Conclave in Westron.
Wait, we're in West.
We're in Westron.
Those fucking assholes.
The air has that perfect, crisp breeze indicative of the chillier months to come. The scent of deep-fried festival foods and fermented alcohols radiates heavily from the center of the town square in the Opal and Market wards. The distant sound of string quartets and laughing townsfolk pick up in your ear. Trinket. The immense sense recall spawns
Oh, nice. We got a
in your
little
head. And you
a
know
little image.
this is the happy food festival time. This is your favorite time.
You know what I've always loved about the Cruel is that the
But for
fact that
some
they
reason, Vex is walking
kind of act
you
out
away from
everything
the
and really
festival and
immerses the
towards
audience into
Bramblewood
the experience.
Forest. I know, buddy, but listen, I need you to stay here. Look, I can't have you risking sneaking away and giving into your temptations again. Pike would kill me, and she's already upset at you for clearing out the Slayer's take honey stash the past 2 times. I know, but look, I promise you, if you do this for me, buddy, I'll come back with a whole load of festival treats. All right? All right, darling?
So in terms of the the narrative arc and all that,
Don't get into any trouble.
this is where in the hero's journey, you know, it's the ordinary world
Happy bear.
part of it until
And she
it gets
walks on
into
down the
something
road.
else.
Where am I right now?
You are currently on the edge of the Bramblewood Forest, kind of up on a mountain. You can kind of see Western in the distance.
Okay, so looking down at the city from the distance. Okay.
You can see kind of far off that the city is dressed up in autumn colors and reds, and there are wagons being pulled into the city. And you recalled Vex mentioning something about the Slayer's Cake competing in a competition. Seems like I got a lot of competitions, and they are entering Keyleth and Pike's prize honey. So you know there's a lot of honey. As you turn around, hear a few cracks of branches, and there's a crowd of other bears. Just seems to have been watching the whole time. There's a panda. That just kind of waves.
Can we speak English?
Yeah. You can speak to each other, and you can, like, kind of mumble through words to humans.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh,
But you can kind of.
Hey, you.
Yeah.
What's your name?
Oh, me? I'm Patty Tuckspin. I'm new to these parts. I come from, somewhere else. But I've been walking around, checking it out. I like the place.
All right. You seem a little fish out of water, but
What's your name?
they call me Trinket.
You a girl?
I'm a member
Just
of Vox
straight up,
Machina,
you a girl.
saviors
That's
of this
insane.
land, Taldore and beyond. You show me some respect.
I just look at his junk. Hey, it's not a girl.
It's not.
Who are you?
I love how they're playing into the roles here.
This guy.
Hey, my name is Cookie. I'm a bear. This is my brother, Waffle.
How you doing? Yeah, we just rolled into town. Just picked up this guy along the way. We don't speak for him. We don't not gonna give him any credit right now. He seems like an okay guy.
You guys are all
How you
just
doing,
hanging out here at the edge of the Bramblewood for no reason.
Well, man, we heard this town's got the good shit.
There's
Me.
big talk.
Yeah, so you also see that the players as well
All right.
in this, we're already kind of seeing already that they kind of start to make their own world, right? Because RPGs are all about collective storytelling, right? You don't only just have
Yeah, there's one more.
you don't only just have like what's going on in the actual game, right? The set points that are in the game, but you also just have those nice in betweens as well.
My name is Liam Las Vegas. I'm just.
Did you say Liam Las Vegas? That's insane.
That's it.
A honey bender?
I'm on a honey bender. I'm here with you lads.
Strictly for the honey. Don't let his personality defects fool you. He's a top man. Top man knows his business.
I mean, he's a
And I believe at this point they haven't gone for the
What he
rules
does,
yet.
When he can do it.
Started out as a bottom man. Now I'm a top man.
Worked his way to the middle mostly.
Middleman.
Top of his field is middleman.
Top of the middle.
Worked his way from the bottom.
Started from the bottom. Now we at the middleman.
As
Louise.
you hear the music in the background, press on. All you can keep thinking about, Trinket, is that massive stash of honey hiding right behind the walls of the Hazel Festival.
I look out. Do I still see Vex, or is she far enough away?
She's pretty far gone at this point over the mountain. She doesn't seem to be paying any attention to you.
I'm gonna try and sense honey.
Okay, roll a bear.
I get double die.
You get advantage. Yeah.
Oh, man.
Nope.
No.
Wait. Is this nope.
No.
All right. Right now, just a lot of fried foods. And you know that, like, you know, at Ren Fair.
Yeah.
You know, at Ren Fair when like that kind of like mead smell and
Oh, yeah.
dirt.
No,
It's kind of like that.
that's
That's
a
all you
little
got
rotten.
right now. It's
Yeah.
a little too much right now.
We probably want to get closer in before we start using the.
Yeah, no. The nose ain't picking nothing up right now. No.
Then you begin to make your plan.
All right.
We should obviously get drinks.
Well, I was gonna say, first and foremost, like I said, my name's Trinket. I'm an adventurer. I've been through dungeons of all sorts and kinds. Used to scaring things off that are dangerous in my way. I have no idea what the hell you're all capable of.
You, Panda Bear.
The name's Petty.
Petty.
Petty Bear.
Tell me, if we're gonna go into this city,
Yeah.
and we're gonna reap the rewards of this honey festival contest, and I know where it is, what do you have to bring to the table anyway?
Petty, why don't you go ahead and roll a d6, and this will determine your roll.
Oh, wow. 1.
Petty Tuckspin, you're the muscle of the group.
Okay, so now they're starting to
Let me lay
roll
out a day in the life of
for their
Petty
rolls.
Tuxpan.
We'll kind of have like a similar thing. Let me just
I
pause
wake
this
up.
real quick.
I eat bamboo mostly.
Yeah. So we'll kind of have like a similar thing going on with ours. Yeah, we'll kind of have a similar kind of setup with ours. And let me just go back to this here. Let's go this one. But yeah, you'll see we'll have a similar thing with ours. We have the character role. That might be something to do with the once we establish more about what the race is about. We might consider these roles. And then we have the skills as well. The realm of origin kind of acts as. So let me just go back to the original document. You can see kind of what this correlates with. So they have to roll for character creation, roll, so descriptor, skill, and roll. So here we have the skill. So this would kind of be the descriptor, I guess, and roll. This is just an extra thing I added. Might add some more tables, depending. But yeah. Again, more of that world building is happening right here. It's a great showcase because you can see immediately the world building that's happening.
About 10 a.m., I eat. 12, I eat.
What do you eat at 12?
Bamboo.
Okay.
All right, go ahead.
I get you.
1 through 4 is nap time. 4 to bedtime is eating. Now, I lay this all out for you because I just want you to know what I do with those calories is I crush skulls. I break bones.
Oh my gosh, you crush skulls?
Rough up people
Like
who haven't
sparrow
made
egg between
opinions.
men's thigh.
Well, we can arm wrestle if you really want a sense of what this tuck spin's all about.
Petty, don't hurt him, Petty.
Don't hurt him. He seems quite serious.
As a fellow bear who's immediately stared at my junk, I feel it's only right and fair that I accept your challenge.
Oh, we're gonna do this.
All right.
Paws up.
I'd say roll a bear off, and you get advantage.
Yeah, you do.
Yeah,
Petty.
I do.
Paw wrestling.
Paw wrestling.
This is okay. A 1 is my better stat.
No.
Correct.
I don't. Oh, 4.
Without fail, Petty, just like a sprig of bamboo, just snaps all the way back.
You okay?
All right, we need some muscle. You've proven yourself worthy. Do I move a point for failing?
Do you feel aggravated?
No.
You agreed to it. You're
No,
fine.
not
Not
too
yet.
aggravated, yeah.
Not yet.
Yeah, pandas. They're fighters, not lovers.
All right, good. So we got muscle.
Yeah, so
What
you'll
you
see
two
there,
brothers got at the table?
sometimes the GM will kind of interpret moves a certain way. You don't have to stick too much to the rules when talking about TTRPGs, kind of to GM discretion. So, yeah, you'll see there that they didn't want to move. Normally what happens when you make a roll like that in the Honey Heist system, one of your stats gets moved over to the other. But in this case, it did move over because, well, as I said, didn't feel aggravated, didn't really fit the situation. You know, they were friendly, doing a little friendly arm wrestling, so didn't seem like something to move a stat. So sometimes if we ever play test it on stream, you'll hopefully be able to see some of that as well. That kind of dynamic of the GM, whoever it is, kind of taking over and being like, okay, like overruling the game's rules. So we'll go until it's already okay. This is starting of when did it start? Okay, so we got a good while in. Let's go until like let's give it a good 10 to 15 more minutes, and then we'll perhaps look at Minecraft. Yeah, we'll perhaps look at some Minecraft. Kind of end the day off to our VTuber shoutouts, which if you guys don't know what it is, I have a little thing going on called the VTuber shoutouts, which basically means at the end of my streams, I like to shout out a small or big VTuber in the community, and kind of give back to the community in that way. I do have a form as well in my description. Again, for Twitch folks, it's in my bio. But if you are a VTuber, you know, big or small, and would like to get shouted out here live on stream, but also on my socials and whatnot, so that's like mainly Twitter and YouTube, feel free to submit to that form. It doesn't take that long. It should take around 5 to 10 minutes. It's just some basic like information on all that and links and what have you. But yeah, and then I would just shout you guys out on the form. But since we don't have anyone on that form right now, I've already selected someone to shout out, and you guys will be able to see who that is in just a bit once we're done watching a bit of this. I think what I want to do, I want to kind of go up into the first like inciting incident, or like maybe not inciting incident, but go up until like there's some other story point, because right now they're kind of introducing themselves to each other, so we'll kind of go past that and to the next story point, and then we'll kind of end it there.
1.
Do you want to still also be on muscle, or would you like to
No.
roll?
Let's roll that. 4.
All right. Cookie?
Yeah,
You're the brains of the group.
of course I am.
Waffle?
Oh, he's like the
the
gesture of like,
hacker.
yep, of course I am.
Hacker. Hacker bear.
Hold on, wait.
Waffle?
Yep.
To the group.
Of course I am.
Waffle?
Yep.
You're the hacker.
Hacker. Hacker bear.
Find out. Do we write our rules down on our sheet?
Yes.
Okay.
Oh, wow.
Write your rolls down.
Let me tell you, we've hit all the biggest places. We've hit Vasselheim. We have hit Stillben, okay? We've been to the Briarwoods home turf, and we've gotten all their fucking honey.
Hold there, honey.
And we're gonna get this honey, because this fucking guy is gonna hack the system.
I can hack anything. Anything you need. I can hack doors, I can hack people, I can hack cities. Hack right through them.
Use force.
Just hack right through.
Even with those stubby fingers.
Hey, man, do you know how to hack? No, don't be talking to me about my business.
What do you know how to do?
What
Las
exactly do
Vegas?
you do, Honey Badger?
2. Reroll.
Reroll.
No. No. Yeah, 3.
You're the driver.
Yeah. All right, I'll be the driver.
Yeah.
Yeah, what's your deal?
I'm the driver.
Where's our ride at? What are we taking this time?
Well,
What's the sound
we've
of these?
got a horse and buggy.
You're gonna have to pick up a ride.
We're gonna pick up a ride.
Figure something out.
And don't worry, I have super high criminal charisma.
Criminal charisma. That's insane.
All right.
All right, Trinket, you're the last one.
So it looks like we got a nice selection of abilities here. So let me tell you what I have to offer. 1, I know where the honey is. 2, I know the people probably around it. And 3,
Let's anything 5. You're a thief.
Oh, well, that makes sense.
You're in
Just like your mom.
and let me just tell you, I've learned a few tricks from the two that raised me. So that honey's gonna be as good as ours.
Awesome.
Now,
I feel like now would be a good time for me to sort of confess that I don't really like that. I've never had honey. I eat bamboo mostly.
Is it a gluten thing? Is it gluten?
No, I
Is
just
it
haven't had
gluten?
it.
weird
Does
diet.
it stick
Like a
to
sugar.
your...
Don't have it
Yeah, but
much
you
where
would
I
have
come
it
from.
with. You take the bamboo and you just stir it around in the
Dip
honey.
the
You have it
bamboo
together.
in the honey and then you...
That would be good.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's like celery and peanut butter.
All right. I
Don't
can't wait
fucking
to
knock
taste
it.
it.
trust me, it'll be great.
Yeah.
Rub my sore shoulders. What do you want, man?
Did you bring any bamboo with you in a sack or something?
Did I?
Did you bring any bamboo? No.
I ate it on the way here. I eat a lot.
Big things.
Yeah, we heard.
And you also like to eat anything that kind of remotely resembles bamboo. Sure. So
So anything foul.
Good.
yeah.
He's gonna get hangry. You're not gonna like him when he's hangry.
All right.
All
Our
right.
newfound friend, Trinket. What can you tell us about this town? Where the honey is? What are we working with here, buddy?
All them banners you see out there beyond the walls. This is a goddamn celebration. There's a contest in there. My ears picked it up. And in the middle of that contest area, I can smell it. There's all the honey we could ever hope for. And us, we need some bamboo. Keep your eyes open.
All right.
Now we all have to do is get inside. So, if you're the brains, what do you suggest?
Bonnie Crombie says she...
So, just gonna go through what they talked at this point with world building and whatnot. So a lot of that comes down to like the narrative arc and all that. Narrative arc, and just looking at like, okay, what's the flow of the story? And I said before that a lot of the players kind of determine what the story is, because yeah, it's a role playing game, so that's gonna happen a lot. I'm really liking where this is going so far. Let's watch a tiny bit more, and then we'll kind of transition to something else, or at least until I've had the rest of my food.
We're gonna dress as people. That's the plan.
Because right now they're still kind of planning out everything. I want to get to the next story beat.
I mean, we
Trinket, your ears pick up in the distance. Hats! Get your hats!
Immediately. I think you're onto something.
Ding ding.
Cookie. Waffle.
Yeah.
Liam, Las Vegas. Teddy bear.
Yeah.
Let's go get us some hats.
He's about 100 yards away, kind of entering into the south entrance of the city, about to cross the threshold of the wall.
Okay. Do we want to try and quickly and quietly make our way up behind?
Well, what do we see?
I would technically be the smallest, correct? Being a honey badger rather than a bear. And I could maybe, if I need to slip by unnoticed, to grab a couple of things and bring them back to you guys.
Start a distraction.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's what we're gonna do. Okay? Cookie and waffle. We're gonna fuck shit up. All right? We're gonna get the garbage. We're gonna start fucking with people's shit. I might even scare a little kid. When that happens, you're in. You just grab as many fucking hats as you can, and you skedaddle back, and we meet up together, and then we choose which hats we're gonna wear and which makes us look most human, or elf, or halfling in your case.
Okay, but one question. Let me know any size preferences, a style before. I don't want to come back and then have a big argument, and then I gotta go back again.
Mr. Las Vegas, surprise us.
All right, I can do it.
All right, Liam.
Oh shit.
Las Vegas.
Call you Vegas.
Vegas.
I told Vegas. Call you Vegas.
God damn you.
Vegas strong, baby.
Vegas, you skitter on down past, kind of using the rocks and the fauna to dodge as you get up close behind the guy. Cookie and waffle.
The guy.
I say we split up. You take the bottom of the road. I take the top.
Okay, so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna scare a bunch of little children, and I want you to start tearing down the festive decorations that you see.
You want me to hack those decorations?
Hack the decorations the fuck
Hack the decorations. I love like their take on hacking, because there's no like hacking usually implies like digital devices, right?
You need me to do anything?
Or some sort of like electronics and stuff like that. But of course, in this world, they don't really have those kind of like, you know, stuff. I like their interpretation on hacking. Really nice.
That honey is. So if you're gonna do a scare, do it and get out.
All right. Waffle and Cookie flank from the sides. As you kind of start getting up to the wall of the city, you see two guards standing at the entrance, just kind of nodding, greeting people, letting them go in as they go. See a few banners hung up along the wall, a few flowers.
I'm gonna hack a couple banners down. So we have a brief disguise.
Hack a few banners down.
A couple banners.
You said there's a couple of soldiers, guards.
A couple of guards, a couple of shields.
Are there any kids in sight?
There's maybe like one or two coming in, families coming in and filtering into the city for the festival.
So
Most people seem to be
between me and
inside.
them, or are the kids like open season? You know what I'm
Kids
saying?
are currently open season. Yeah.
All right.
You see like a mom and dad, two kids, typical looking family, out for a nice day. And you see like another kid going along in with one of the vendors. They've got some vegetables on their back.
We wrap ourselves in these.
Okay, so I think after this stealing the hat beat, that we can
They might think we're ghosts.
go ahead and transition to the end of the stream.
Yeah.
I don't think we're going to be doing any Minecraft today. We might leave that for another day. Who knows? Maybe our last day when we're doing our showcase.
Following your route, maybe
Since we don't have a
5 feet
planned
out from the
game, we
back
can
of,
take a look at
the best
that.
hat vendor in town. Theobald the Bold is because his
Leo
hat
what?
is the boldest. And he's like a little halfling dude with like scrappy clothes, but his hat looks like way overpriced in comparison to everything else. He's hunched as he's kind of got a pull behind wagon just piled with hats.
Really leaned into it, didn't he?
Get your hats, festival hats.
Go.
Well,
Las Vegas, go.
He's gotta.
So I'm gonna hack the banners.
All right, as this is happening,
I'm getting nervous. I'm getting nervous.
we start hacking banner. Roll for criminal.
Is that a double?
That's a double
All
for a
right.
hacker.
Yeah. Two.
All right,
Yeah.
so you
I got
successfully,
hack down.
you're kind of a little tangled in them. You're the kind of, the pendants are kind of getting in your face a little bit. What are you doing?
flop one on
Cookie?
him.
Well, I get covered up. I'm gonna start running towards the kids, and I'm gonna yell as loud as I can like this.
The kids.
I'm gonna take a shit, and then I'm gonna
What?
the grown-ups' heads that are with the
Oh my goodness. That's great. Some brains there. Oh my gosh.
This time the dad goes, guards, bears, get the, and about this time, one of the guards looks over out there and he goes, Glennon, we have a bear attack. And they start running after you, banging their spears against the shields, going, get away, yeah.
Start flinging shit at him.
Yeah,
Oh my gosh.
flinging bears, Glennon. They're trying to block it. Roll for criminal.
Criminal? This is criminal flinging
No,
my
roll
shit?
for bear.
I
Roll
thought
for
it'd be bear.
I guess you are being more of a bear
So
than
do
the
I just roll
brains right
one?
now.
I roll one.
At the zoo.
This is the smartest idea that any bear has ever had. It's a 2.
You successfully fling shit. As the guards try to duck and cover, one kind of gets hit like right in the right eye. And he's like,
Oh gosh. Ow.
They start kind of jabbing at you guys with spears.
Let's take them out. We're leading them away from the hats.
You're like, all right, they chase you off probably a good 50 or so yards off around the kind of
We'll
the
go
corner.
into the woods where you're supposed to poop.
Right, and as we're running, I yell, hack the system!
Yeah. God, I think those bears were rabid. Pretty sure we probably should have put them down, man. And they slowly walk back. In this time,
Yeah, I'm just
how
grabbing.
many hats?
I'm grabbing. How many do you think I could carry? 10?
You could
I wanna get
probably
a good
do a few
selection.
like darts and kind of like
okay.
hide a few in this time. Roll for criminal.
Okay.
Honey badgers don't steal hats. Oh,
4.
oh.
No,
No good.
So about this time, in the distraction.
Have I gotten any away yet?
Yeah, you got a nice solid haul
Oh, okay.
as you're trying to go for your bonus hats. Theobald turns around and goes, and rats! There's bears and rats! Get out!
Piece of shit.
Get! And he starts kind of stomping at you. Look, he knocked over my hats. And he starts scooping up the ones.
I have claws, right? A little bit. I have like
A
some
little
more
bit.
claws.
Honey badger,
Yeah.
I'm just gonna get him in the butt.
Yeah, you actually, your special ability. Oh, you're
I'm
attacking.
just gonna kind of like.
Okay, roll 2d6 and roll for the lowest under bear. You carnage.
Are you gonna poke him in the gooch?
Oh, jeez. Oh.
1 and a 2.
Great.
Okay, so they're rolling for carnage. So you can see each bear has like a skill. They're playing as the honey badger, so they have what's called carnage. They don't really explain what it is, but it's basically just like that skill associated with the bear. So we have, I don't know if we have I want to say there's a sun bear there that can sense honey. There's definitely I don't know. So far, any information that we have. Oh no, we have panda. Yeah, no, we have panda. Eat anything that looks like bamboo. Yep. And then we have honey badger, probably a sun bear, probably a grizzly. I don't know if they have any polar bears. I don't know. I think it's just all of these except for polar bear. I want to say there's 6, right? Yeah. So they probably have a black, sun, honey badger, panda, and grizzly. So yeah, so you'll kind of roll these before the game starts. With ours, you kind of go to one I've already made here. Yeah, you roll like the realm of origin, expertise, level experience, and roll here. And then I also added that you get starting 5,000 gold, just in case you want to buy stuff or, in this adventure at least, gamble. there's gambling in this adventure, but of course, all in the game. Not actual money here. But yeah, and then you kind of get this is kind of just reflecting what this says here. But I think it's also just, this part with the end here, it's kind of modified. Just kind of say what happens in the story if something were to change. And then this is just more information on the adventure, mainly for the GM. But characters, the players can look over this as well and kind of get to know the story a bit more. Again, I don't know if I'm going to use any of these locations. We'll see. We'll see. I still haven't figured out how the in-between sections are going to work yet for this. Okay, so let's see how far are we into this. Okay, I think this would be a good spot to kind of just end off here. Just to recap, today we covered some world building and hold up, covered some world building today, and game mechanics. So we kind of looked at the game mechanics of Honey Heist, and then we looked at how to build worlds for your games. Not necessarily have to. You didn't necessarily have to create like a full story. If it's a physical game, like we looked at Forbidden Desert, that kind of has like a little prelude, and you actually have your game. When kids are like that with more traditional board games like this, not like a tabletop role playing game, you'll find a lot of this. It was a little prelude in the beginning, and then you kind of just play the game. Um, Again, with digital games, that might be very different. Some games are like that as well, as we see with this one here. But others also just might be all story based, or might uh, center more story and whatnot. So a lot of world building kind of plays into what's it called? Plays into environmental storytelling a lot. So again, I know I've said this multiple times at the stream, but I'm just gonna say again that if you guys are interested in reading further on your own time and whatnot about all these things, and then also seeing all the links to everything, um, feel free to check out the slides in the description if you guys are on YouTube. If you're on Twitch, check out the bio. All the links are everywhere. You'll be able to read all the slides from all the days that we do the game design showcase, whether that be in the future or whether that be these, the past few days, the game design showcase days, and I guess just the rest of these days that leading up to this weekend. And as for these formal and dramatic elements, I might as well link. I'm gonna make that actually right now. But this is from the game design workshop. So if you guys, I'm just gonna leave that as a placeholder for now. To kind of add afterwards. But yeah, just another kind of resource to check out. Game Design Workshop. You guys can check this out after the stream. If not tomorrow, and I'll have this all updated. But for now, that was it for the Honey Heist section. I didn't even go to this, but yeah. So the that's it for the Honey Heist section. I think we won't do any Minecraft today, just because I want to. One, it's getting late for me. It's around. It's almost like 11. Or actually, no, it already is 11. It's 11, like 11 right now in the at the night. So I don't want to take up too much time. I still gotta clean up and head to sleep for the next day. So I think we'll leave that there. We'll do our VTuber shoutouts though. So let's head into that. I'm just gonna quickly go to just chatting, and we can quickly do the VTuber shoutouts. Actually, you know what? Actually, I never actually did it like this. Let's try doing it like this. Go to the homepage here of my Twitter, and then let's do the shout out through there. See, I should have it pulled up here. Yep. Okay, so I'm trying to find my cursor here. Okay. I am trying to find. Dude, my cursor. I don't know why my cursor's not showing up. It's so fun. Hold up, adventures. Stuff is going on. What the heck? Come on. Don't even know where my cursor is. Okay. All right, so let's see here. Where is my cursor? Oh my gosh. Ah. Okay, hold up, inventors. We're gonna figure this out. Let's go to just chatting real quick. If I can find my cursor where it is on the screen. Okay. let's set to just chatting, and we'll do our VTuber shoutouts. All right. Okay, welcome, inventors. Let's get into our VTuber shoutouts, shall we? All right. So, just to explain what this little segment is at the end of the stream. I kind of explained it before, but I'm just gonna do it one more time. Basically, how this works, I shout out at the end of my streams. I shout out a VTuber, big or small, at the end of my streams, on my here live, but also on my socials. So today, and of course, we have that VTuber shoutouts form. I'll go ahead and paste it as well in chat. So this is for you guys on Twitch, and let's grab the guy. Let's do YouTube as well. Yeah, so that's the VTuber shoutouts form. Feel free to check that out if you guys are interested in either shouting out someone else that you know, like a VTuber that you guys know, or if you're a VTuber yourself, big or small. It doesn't matter. But we're gonna check out today the lovely Lilith O'Leary. Yes, Lilith O'Leary. See how they're still doing Little Nightmares. Okay, I don't know if ooh, wow, 5 hours ago. Okay, I don't know if they're gonna be ending stream soon, but it looks like they just got done with the game. Let's see. All right. Well, either way, I'll link you guys over to Lilith here. If you don't know who that is, she is a local cryptid psychopomp in training. You might know her from, you might recognize her from a certain bird. We'll just say, I don't know, like a certain raven. A certain raven. We'll keep it at that. If you know, you know, but I don't want to do anything, say anything too much. But yeah, if you know a certain raven, then you'll know who this is. Yeah, go check her out. This is her Twitter. We'll send in chat as well. And then we'll redirect you guys over here on YouTube to her channel. I don't know if she's doing streaming on Twitch. If she is, I can redirect you guys on Twitch there. Nope, doesn't look like she is. Alright, that's alright. We'll send you guys over from Twitch here. And here's the stream of Little Nightmares. She's been going for 5 hours, so I don't know how long she has left on the stream, but check her out. And then we'll link the channel as well. And of course, all this will be on my Twitter as well. But yeah, go check her out. Her description. Okay, I'm just gonna read quickly her bio here. Okay, yeah, so it says, I'm your guide into the unknown. Follow me as I take you through the dark, the obscure, and the mysterious. Let me regale you with terrifying tales and tunes. Let us witness haunting horrors together. Descend with me into a world where fear is made fun. Yeah, go check her out. She's an amazing streamer. She just started like a month ago, and she's already got at like, oh gosh, what? Oh wait, bro, she gained like 100. What's that? How much more? Oh my gosh. So when I last checked her out this morning, she was at 32.1k subs, and now she's at 32.1 or 32.4. What? That's insane. She's only been live for a month now, which is crazy. This goes to show the VTuber community is insane. I think even before debut, she already had like so many subscribers. But yeah, go check her out. She does a lot of like horror content. So if you're interested in that, go check her out. Yeah, I'll see you inventors tomorrow for some more game design showcase. We're going to be talking tomorrow about playtesting and problem solving, and we're going to showcase Metal Gear Solid. It's going to be my first time playing that. It's going to be real fun. I'm really excited for that. I got the Metal Gear Solid like Masters Collection for the Switch, Volume 1. So it's got the first, I believe, 3 games in the series. So I'm pretty excited for that. The reason I wanted to do that is because one, I wanted talk about playtesting and all that. It's not the playtesting side is not really that applicable for Metal Gear Solid, but more of the problem solving side of it that kind of is part of playtesting. Because if you've ever playtested anything, there's always a lot of iteration and problem solving that you got to work with throughout that process. So yeah, it's a lot of that. So it's gonna be real fun. It's actually my first blind playthrough as well through Metal Gear Solid. I've never played that game before, so yeah, it's gonna be real fun. The reason I did get it though, and the reason why I want to showcase it is well, because of a certain ghost, a certain Maid Mint, I know she's like very into Metal Gear, so kind of inspired me to be like, you know what, why not? This one day I saw I saw that game on the shelves of my local game store, and I was just like, yo, the thing is, like, I've never actually seen that. Like, that was such a coincidence at the time. I was like, oh my gosh, it's a sign, guys. It's a sign. Like, I was literally watching, I think, one of Maid Mid's streams on Metal Gear, and then literally like a day or two after, or on the weekend, I went to the store, saw that, and I was like, oh, let's go. Oh my gosh, it's a sign. So I'm like, you know what? I'm getting this. There's only one copy, and it's like I believe it was a used game, so was a bit cheaper. Oh, no, actually, no. I'm thinking of another game I got, but no, it's like a new copy. But I've like never seen Metal Gear Solid stuff there before. I was like, oh, you know what? Why not? So we're gonna do that tomorrow, and then the day after on the Sunday, same time, by the way, 8 p.m. EST. We're gonna be doing our final design and feedback game design showcase with our WBC Realms. We're going to be showcasing off more in detail the other adventure that I made. And if I can gather people, we'll try to play test it. If not, we'll just do some Minecraft that day for our showcase part of it, like the game side of it. Just to chill out afterwards. I don't know. We'll see. Or we might return back to another game that we did throughout those days. Who knows? But yeah, thank you everybody for taking the time today for this stream. We've been going for quite a while, so I won't hold you guys here any longer. I'll see you guys tomorrow, 8 p.m. EST, for some more game design showcase. But until then, this has been Wilson Goldfinch, your steampunk inventor from the sky city of Leviton, signing off. Bye bye.